Time to learn about reaching out to these property owners. When you reach out to them, you want to set yourself apart from all the other inquiries that they're getting. Short or overused messages like, "Hi, is this still available?" will likely just get completely ignored because property owners are just not going to bother responding to that type of thing. When they're getting 10 people reaching out at once, they're going to respond to whoever they get the best impression from. First impressions are everything with this type of thing, just like everything else. So craft your initial message in a way that will give them a good feeling about you. If it's a Facebook message or an email that you're sending, something like this example works well. "Hi Dave, I think this apartment could be a great fit for me. I work right near the train station and I'm looking to move sometime in the next few weeks. Could I give you a call to ask a couple questions and set up a time to come see it?" This gives them a sense that you're enthusiastic about the apartment. It gives them a personal sense of something that relates to your unique situation and shows them that you're serious about taking the next step forward by wanting to get in contact. Now let's look at another example. "Is this on the first floor?" This is not a good way to start the conversation. If you have questions about the property, ask the questions once you get them on the phone. One last example. "Hi, I may be interested in taking a look at this. Do you accept pets?" Again, wait to ask questions like this until you have already established a connection. Any initial messages should be positive, give some details about yourself, and be geared toward the goal of actual human-to-human contact. Now let's talk about taking things one step further. You've gotten their phone number and are about to give them a call. What do you say? Well, this might seem like common sense and making a good first impression, but the most important thing is to make sure that your energy and your voice and attitude comes across as being positive, enthusiastic, respectful, curious, and patient. So while it seems obvious and you may already be the type of person who's great at talking to people, just be aware that you want to avoid coming across as stressed, desperate, or rushed. And even if you have in mind to make sure that they're not a scammer, avoid coming across as overtly suspicious of them. The first question that you want to ask, if you weren't already able to tell from the listing, is whether they're the property owner or a leasing agent. Make sure you have your notebook or spreadsheet ready to keep track of any things that come up on the call that you may want to remember or jot down, so that you can remember who's who and what's what. All right, on to the next tip. So for obvious reasons, it's best not to give any personal details about your financial situation or the circumstances surrounding the sale of your home, which may give them an indication that you can't afford the rent or make them think that you may become a problem tenant. So you want to play it cool, be casual, and simply explain that you're selling your home because you are downsizing. Remember that in screening potential tenants, all landlords and property management companies are ultimately just making sure that the tenant will be able to comfortably afford the rent and is a responsible, stable, professional individual. So when in doubt, less is more. Saying too much may end up working against you. You want to be confident in explaining to them that you are reliable and are able to provide proof of income, references, and any other documentation that they may require. Avoid talking about credit. We can cross that bridge when we come to it if your application is denied because of your credit history. You can simply say you're not sure of your credit score if they ask. If you're able to set up a time to go see it in your first conversation with them, that's fantastic. Go ahead and see it that same day, the following day, or as soon as possible. Don't wait until the weekend if you don't have to. Try to get ahead of the competition. So now you're at the property. You're shaking their hand, you're taking a tour. Hopefully it goes great, you love it and could really see yourself there. You're chatting up the property owner and build a great rapport with them. They tell you to go ahead and fill out the application when you get home, and all goes smoothly. Now, let's say it sucks and you hate it. Remember that you may need to keep your options open temporarily or keep it as a backup option in a worst case scenario where we're not able to find a better option within your time frame. So don't rule anything out immediately unless it's really not an acceptable or safe place to live for whatever reason. Or let's say that the showing goes well and you like the place, but they start asking you some unavoidable deeper questions and you're not sure how to answer. Let's go over how to overcome some of these major objections. Poor credit. This can be a tricky one. If they ask what your credit score is, You can answer with a question. If they say, do you have a good credit score? You can say, do you have a minimum credit score? If the answer is over 650 or over 700 or whatever they say, you can be honest and say you don't know if you don't know. Or if they say, no, we don't have a minimum credit score, but we do pull your credit report and look at if you have anything major on there, then in that instance, you can say, okay, please let me know if anything comes up on my record that you have questions about. If the credit topic is coming up because they've already reviewed your application and seen a foreclosure on your credit report, we recommend that you just be honest and explain that it took some time to get back on your feet, but in selling your home and making this transition, that you're confident that you can afford the rent, and remind them that you are happy to provide additional proof of income, a letter from an employer, references, whatever they need to see to be confident in you as a tenant. One thing we've found can be a great addition to your application in these type of instances is what we call a love letter. This is a thoughtful and personal letter that you write to the property owner, expressing your love of the property and your desire to be chosen as a tenant out of the sea of applicants that they're considering. Property owners often appreciate the time and effort put into this gesture. It pulls at their heartstrings a little bit and can often be the deciding factor that gives you the edge over the competition. So use this opportunity to go into detail about who you are, why you want to rent there, what you love about it, and why it's important to you. We can provide you with examples of love letters that some of our past clients have written so that you can draft your own and perfect it with our input and expertise. It can also be used later in the process to push them to reconsider if they have denied your application because of low credit. But the love letter isn't always necessary, so trust your gut based on your relationship with the property owner. Now, let's talk about pets. The love letter is a good place to talk a little bit more about your furry friend. Cleanliness, noise level, and safety are what the property owner is thinking about. They want to know that your cats don't scratch, that your dog doesn't bark incessantly or poop in the yard everywhere, that they're vaccinated, that they don't bite, and that they're not going to bother anyone or become an issue or wreck the place. You can give them peace of mind about these type of concerns and liabilities earlier in your phone conversations prior to seeing the property if it feels appropriate. Sometimes we have clients offer to provide a rabies vaccine record from their vet, provide the dog's registration number, references from pet sitters who have taken care of the pet, or offer to hire a landscaper to regularly clean up the yard, whatever it takes. If you mention a willingness to go above and beyond in providing this type of thing, it shows them that you recognize their concerns and that you know your pet and that you know that they have nothing to worry about. Congrats on making it this far. Now you've learned everything you need to know to effectively start establishing relationships with potential landlords and exploring opportunities. The last piece of advice we want to impart about all of this is how important it is to follow up with people. If you talk to someone on the phone and they say that you can see the place tomorrow at 5 p.m. the next day, go ahead and shoot them a text at 11 a.m. the next morning and just say, just confirming 5 p.m. today still works for you. Looking forward to it, thanks. If you talk to them on the phone and they say they have to check when they can show it to you, don't let more than 24 hours go by without checking back with them again. If you see it in person and they say to fill out an application, try to submit the application that same day or early the next morning. And then once you submit an application, always let them know right away once you've sent the application to confirm they've received it, and follow up within 24 to 48 hours to check back with them whether you've been approved or ask when you can expect to be notified, and follow up accordingly. Follow-up is the name of the game here, and they're likely to choose whoever is top of mind and is in touch with them most frequently. Of course, there's a balance between following up regularly and being annoying about it, but lean toward following up more than you think you need to be. Don't think of it as being pushy. As long as you're gently following up and being polite, they will appreciate the follow-through, and in our experience, it really does give you an edge. On to the next step, signing the lease. If and when you get the good news that you've been approved, find out when you have to pay by, who you have to pay, how much you have to pay, and let us know right away so we can coordinate any support or assistance that we may be providing in paying for first, last, and security deposits. Not all of our clients need assistance with deposits, and we're not able to provide these type of cash advances to everyone So this is something that should be discussed with us in advance if you foresee that affording a first, last, and security payment to be a challenge. In the event that you're approved by someone on our team to get assistance with this prior to the closing date of the sale of your property, Unlocked Home Project will pay for this expense so that you can get your lease agreement signed right away, and you will sign an agreement stating that we will be reimbursed for this expense out of the proceeds of the sale of your home. If you get stuck at any point in the process or have any questions, please communicate with us about this as you go along. Whether it's a big thing or a little thing, we want to know how it's going, what you're running into, and what's going on. If you've sent a bunch of messages but aren't getting many responses, let us know. If you had an awkward conversation with someone over the phone, let us know. If you're not sure if something is a scam or not, ask us. If you're waiting to hear back about a couple showings, keep us in the loop. We want to walk with you every step of the way so that you have someone supporting you and on your side and able to chime in or step in directly if that's what the situation calls for, to advocate for you and to work our magic to get you in somewhere and be able to start to shift our focus to coordinating your actual move-in and getting everything else set in motion. So that's it for now. Thanks for watching, and go ahead and text DONE to the number on the screen to let us know that you've watched this last video and are ready to take the next bite of this elephant.